She is talking to Katie Couric again. Katie Couric still looking befuddled at every answer, as she should be. We're all befuddled at the answers. Blinking like crazy, as she does. Asks her a simple question about, hey, you want democracy, but on the other hand, sometimes guys you're not in favor of win in a democracy. Hamas was a group, obviously, the United States government has labeled a terrorist organization. They won in the Gaza Strip. So how do you reconcile those two things? And that's a great question. It's an incredibly fair question and a very pertinent question if she's going to be the Vice President of the United States. Now watch this train wreck. Let's see if we can tell if she knows who the hell Hamas is and where the Gaza Strip is. Do you tell me? Let's watch.
What happens if the goal of democracy, Governor Palin, doesn't produce the desired outcome? For example, in Gaza, the U.S. pushed hard for elections and Hamas won.
Yeah, well, especially in that region, though, we have got to protect those and support those who do seek democracy and do seek protections for the people who live there. And, we're seeing today, in the last couple of days here in New York, a speaker, a president of Iran, Ahmadinejad, who would come on our soil and express such disdain for one of our closest allies and friends, Israel. And we're hearing the evil that he speaks, and if hearing him doesn't allow Americans to commit more solidly to protecting the friends and allies that we need, especially there in the Mideast, then nothing will. If Americans are not waking up to understand what it is that he represents, then nothing is going to wake us up, and we will be lulled into some kind of false sense of security that perhaps Americans were a part of before 9/11.
My first thing I have to say about that is, what? The second thing I have to say about that is, wow. She, A, has no idea what Hamas is. Didn't answer the question at all. Didn't say anything about Hamas. Didn't say anything about how they won the election, why they won the election, whether the election was democratic or not. B, if you could interpret what she said in any way, it was actually supporting the democracies in the democratic elections in the region, and Katie Couric just told her Hamas won that democratic election in the Gaza Strip. So I guess she's supporting Hamas. Is she? Is she? Please, please, ask the McCain campaign. Did Sarah Palin just support the terrorist group Hamas? Come on! She doesn't know what she's doing. Absolutely clueless. And then she diverts into Iran and Ahmadinejad. What was that about? She asked you about the Gaza. And second, and then fourth, okay, you diverted into Iran. You know what Ahmadinejad won? He won an election. Now, we might not like that, but that's the point of the question. What do you do in elections where guys you don't like win? How do you reconcile those competing factors? And she praises democracy and then says, Ahmadinejad, he's the core of evil. Dumber than Bush. Dumber than Bush. Two important conclusions from this. Number one, a major presidential party here, major party, political party in America, has put up on the presidential ticket, national ticket, a person who does not know the most elementary things about foreign policy of the Middle East. Gaza Strip, where is that? Do you think that she knows where the Gaza Strip is? You give her a blank map. Before, we were kidding around about this a couple weeks ago. And I'm like, hey, if you pulled out a blank map and say, hey, point to Iran, could she do it? And I thought, come on, of course she can do it. I mean, she's running for VP. Bounds of reason, right? I now believe that if you pulled out a map and said to Sarah Palin, where's the Gaza Strip? Not a prayer she could locate it. Okay? She doesn't know who Hamas is. How can you be running for vice president? How can you be running for vice president and not know who Hamas is? That's unconscionable, man. It's insane. She should be disqualified. We should see that answer and be like, okay, this ticket's done. Who's next? Is Mitt Romney running? What happened? Can we get Giuliani back? What's going on? Because they're disqualified. It's like, you know, in gymnastics, when you go, and you, like, the guy who ate the pommel horse. You remember that old clip? Where he runs up to it, and he's going to do the jump, and he goes, bam, and runs right into the pommel horse. You're disqualified. You get a 0. Okay, you don't get, you can do your second jump, but it ain't going to help you. You got a 0. Okay, you're done. Yeah, so that's conclusion number 1. Conclusion number 2 is this. It's not just Sarah Palin. John McCain is a moron. Now, look, I'm not saying that lightly, and to this moment, I haven't said it, okay? I'm talking about how John McCain has been rash, how he's been foolhardy in other ways, etc. Moron's a pretty strong word. John McCain's a moron, okay? You're going to pick somebody to be on your national ticket, to be your VP, based on a 15-minute conversation? You're not going to ask her anything about foreign policy? You're going to go, oh, okay, she's popular in Alaska, she's hot, and she's Republican, and the Christian right likes her. Check, check, check. Okay, let's move along. Okay, I pick her. What are you doing, big guy? What are you doing? You know what that is? That's stupid. A stupid person does that.